Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. This is a Super Dave special review. Super Dave here with another exciting special review from Marvel Legends. This time a Fantastic Four creature that was seen in some of the comic books. I'm not that familiar with him. That's why I'm doing a special review. But I am a sucker for dragons. I like dragons. And this guy looked really cool. And just wanted to check him out. He's got a book and like some glasses and stuff. You can see the top of the box there where it shows some cartoony type Fantastic Four images. Wraps around here on the side to show you Fantastic Four, Dragon Man. And same thing on the other side. There's some legalese. Let's go ahead and look at the back. There they are all together. Then you can see some product shots. See his glasses and his little book. He just fascinates me. So I just wanted to get him and have him as a dragon type creature in my MOTU universe. But we'll have to see how big he is first. I could see him being a friend of Granamer's and also a friend of Sauron. That's me. But we'll see how he is once we get him open and check him out over here in New Eternia, along with some other interesting characters, some that we've met recently, and He-Man. And here we are on Eternia, getting ready to take a look at our new visitor. He is huge. It is none other than Dragon Man himself. Visiting Eternia. Look how huge he is. And let's first take a look at his accessories. First of all, Dragon Man comes with two sets of hands, both horizontally hinged. These weapon holding or grabbing style hands, as well as two balled up fisted hands, also horizontally hinged. He comes, of course, with his humongously long tail. And it has those little holes in it, so we can assume that it does have bendy abilities, bendy wire abilities. And then he also comes with a pair of spectacles, a little pair of glasses that'll go on his nose there. And then he also comes with a book, Future Foundation, a book for him to hold and read with his spectacles, his reading glasses. And he also comes with two sets of wings. I have installed one set here. As you can see, it's more of a folded up set of wings. And then he also has a spread out set of wings that will really give him some width. And they're, I think, more of a flesh tone color because the membranes are stretched all the way out, which changed the color of them. Well, that's what I'm imagining anyway. But there is his accessories. And so now let's take a closer look and look at our Dragon Man's articulation. All right, here is our big, giant Dragon Man. I think he's actually bigger than I was expecting him to be, which is not a bad thing. It's just that he is humongous and he's heavy. He is solid. And the first thing we'll do, I went ahead and spread these wings out a little bit. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a hinge that goes up and down like we saw with Sauron. That was just really neat the way they did that, I thought. But he does have a peg that is non-movable back here. So you're just going to take that long old tail and you're going to plug it in. You see it's got some fins, some scales that raise up there on the top. You're just going to work that back and forth and plug that on in there. And then you're going to be able to, because of these heavy wings especially, I think, have the ability to bend this tail so that it kind of serves as a kickstand. I call it a kickstand, but that will work very nicely. And then we put these wings kind of back in their place here where they belong, and that looks really good. Okay, so First thing I want to do is just show you these eyes. Just look at how cool these eyes look. See the details in those eyes, looking really amazing. Like a little bit of a green slit. Always like cat eyes, but just very interesting eyes, very neat looking. You can see that head sculpt, that huge skull, like Brainiac almost. And kind of a horn type structure for eyebrows up here. And of course his mouth is articulated. That's one of the things I like about this figure. You don't get this very often, but I like it when you get a mouth that's really nicely articulated. It'll open up that wide. You can see it has the tongue and the teeth, everything very detailed. Even up inside here you have more teeth that are detailed in. So really cool looking there. Go ahead and close his mouth. Let's go ahead and go over his articulation. He's really not going to look up, and I hate to say that, but he's not going to be able to look up, which is just inexcusable for a figure like this that's supposed to be able to fly. If you try to go up any further, you see this part right here, there's no more trail for it, no more path. It'll go down, but it won't go any further back, and this part right here does not move, so you're stuck. He's not going to be, he'll shift back. Watch this. He'll kind of shift forward and back a little bit like that. And he'll go down all the way. But he will not look up. So that's disappointing. He will definitely get some head pivot. And he'll look side to side some. Yeah, he'll look all the way. I thought it was going to hit on those muscles, but the jaw hits a little bit, but it goes all the way. So he's going to be able to get some expressions for sure. But I'm just a little disappointed that I'm a lot disappointed that his head will not go up any further. That's about as far up as you're going to get him right there. And that's looking straight ahead. Alright, let's go ahead on to his arms. He is going to be able to strike a T pose, as usual. And he will go all the way, 360. He has bicep swivel, those huge biceps. He even has double jointed elbows. And these pins are kind of small for this size figure, so be careful. They will pop out real easy. But yeah, he has double jointed elbows, which gets good range for a big guy. Look at there. And he has a butterfly joint, which will go back that far. That's really good. And will go forward that far, which is pretty good. It does break up the chest quite a bit so that it's not really finished. Seems like it should be larger, in my opinion, for such a big character, but still looking good, still functioning well. Alright, we'll back him up just a little bit so you can see his abdomen. He'll be able to crunch forward that much. He's going to be able to bend back pretty good too. And then with that ball joint, you'll also be able to get side to side movement. So you're going to get the full hula hoop experience there, and he will rotate. This is where you're going to have to get your rotation, because they did not put a rotation at the waist, which they've been doing a lot of that lately. Let's go ahead and move over here. You're going to see here that these wings will, of course, socket. They're got like a socket mechanism, as you can kind of see the edges, not like a hexagon or octagon. It's even more than that, but that will allow it to peg and move by small increments. But then it also has a hinge, so the wings will go all the way out to the back, then all the way front to the shoulders. and that will happen for both sets. So you could even fold them back like that behind him till they hit his tail, or get them all the way till they touch his shoulders. And like I said, you could angle them upwards like so, or even, well, that's as far down as they'll go till they hit the tail back there. But that looks good. Moving on to the legs, he will get full splits. It's got a real thick mechanism under there. He has thigh rotation, of course. Look at all these scales. He's going to be able to kick up a really good amount. He's also going to get double jointed knees, which will go, let's see, yep, all the way to his the lower part of his bottom. So that's good. Then going on over to these feet, he's going to be able to go up that much. Just look at those toenails. He'll go down all the way. Check that out. There's 3 big toenails. And then he'll also get rocker. Look at that tiny peg hole in the bottom. And then he has a toe hinge, which has really already been a lifesaver, because even though if they were maybe stationary, he might stand a little better, but I've had to kind of bend it so that it would kind of help stabilize him. Of course, now that I've got the tail, may not have as much trouble with him. Let's see. Got to get that tail bent to the part where it will actually, there we go, touch the ground. Now shift this. Oop, as you see. All right, let me go ahead and move these ladies, because what we're going to have to do next is take a look at those real wide wings, and they'll knock everything over. So we're going to move some stuff around, and we'll check out his wings next. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how tall he is. Like it said, he's 10 inches tall. All right, from tip to tip, let's check out wings here. 15 inches, and then about 7 inches from there. And of course, it's going to vary based on how you have the wings positioned. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. And these will do the same thing that the other ones did. They will go out all the way like so, go back in all the way until they touch his shoulders. They can also be brought up higher, notch by notch, even until they touch at the point like so. Get it back here so you can see it. There you go. So you can see just how much he can do. That's impressive. So it's not as wide as I feared. You know, this is definitely his more of a flying position right here. So you could bend this up like so. There's he's flying, hovering. Open his mouth a little bit there. Okay, so you can see just how that looks. But that's looking really cool. He's looking good. All right, now let me put on his glasses, and I'm going to go back to his other wings just for the sake of size. All right, so I've got him here, and I've got the glasses, and to be honest with you, there's not really any way to like pop them in there without them falling off. So what I was going to do, see, there they go, is I was going to put just a tab of like the sticky tacky, and now they're not going anywhere. I can do a little better job hiding that sticky tacky. And there you go, looking really cool. Brighten it up a little bit there so you can see him. He's got his spectacles on, and he's reading his book. in there a little bit. I'll have to dim it some so you can see that there you go. There are some details to those pages. Whoops, there you go. You can see now there's some details to those pages, like there's writing on them and even a graph. And yep, there he is reading his book. Looking cool. His spectacles there. Books, details. He can hold it different ways, but you have to kind of get it just right without it falling. That's looking good. He's reach up here, so he's like he's turning the pages. But yeah, looking cool. And now let's do some comparisons. And here's Dragon Man next to a Dragon Beast from the Fright Zone. You can see that they actually, measuring pretty good together. Obviously, our Fright Zone Beast is on all sixes. It's got 3 legs on both sides. But as far as size, I mean, this is not too far off. Of course, his head's a lot bigger than Dragon Man's. And then there is Dragon Man next to Scar. Scar is another character that I like so much, and especially since I painted him, and he is part of my Masters of the Universe. He's a friend of He-Man, and so you can see how big he is next to Scar. Scar is a big boy, but this Dragon Man's even bigger. So cool. And Rogue is saying, yep, there are giants in the land tonight. And here we have Casus from our X-Ray Studio Combatants. He's looking awesome, and he's almost the same height as our Dragon Man. And so that's pretty cool. So we've got some giants in the land here beside our Marvel Legends Giant Man. And then we have from Loose Collectibles, Hyde, that I transformed into Savage He-Man. Savage He-Man is actually looking savage. And so even though he's slumped over a little bit here, he would be about the same height. He'd even be broader than these two guys with all of his bust out muscles and veins. Looking cool here though. Alright, and Casus and Dragon Man wanted to see how our pterosaur, which is a flying reptile, kind of like a flying dinosaur, but they were pterosaurs, and this is, of course, Sauron, which looks, I think, like a pterodactyl, and so it's Pterodactyl Man next to Dragon Man. So he's not a dragon, he's a pterodactyl or a pterosaur, and anyway, there's Dragon Man next to him, and Sauron's like, man, you're tall, I have to look up to you. But that's looking cool. Yeah, I just love having these kinds of figures in my MOTU universe. Besides, I think Dragon Man looks a lot like something that you would have seen in Filmation back in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Except this dude is intelligent. Maybe he could be kind of like Granamer, where, He-Man and Man-at-Arms have to go find Dragon Man and talk to him about something, and he's got a lot of wisdom, kind of like Granamer. Maybe not as old as Granamer. How about that? Anyway, we could do some fun things with him. Dragon Man is cool. And here is Dragon Man next to He-Man of the Masters of the Universe. He is our Revolution He-Man with a Hordak MX Mundo style head, inspired head. Love that He-Man. And then we have from Storm Collectibles the newest Goro 2.0 from Storm Collectibles, that was inspired, of course, out of the Mortal Kombat line. And if he was standing up all the way, he would be just about as tall as his. But here's two rivals, here's two old enemies, Goro and He-Man. Back when I first started my channel, these two went at it and fought. And it was fun. So, but this one's even better, this Goro is, as far as how he looks, and a little bit older version kind of Goro. But yeah, Dragon Man and Goro even look cool next to each other here, I think. Looking cool. And thank you so much for joining us for another Super Dave review. This one has been fun. I thought maybe he was going to be too cartoonish to go along with my Masters of the Universe. And of course, with this bright purple, you know, it's on the line there. Maybe I can give it a black wash a little bit or something. I don't know. But now that I have really fallen for this guy, I think he's going to go great. He and Scar and Casus, they're going to be good friends, and eventually, somehow, in my MOTU stories, an ally of He-Man. I just don't want to make him a bad guy. He's too fun with his glasses and his you know, his big brain and his his smile there. Always looks like he's smiling. He is just a lot of fun, and he's scaly. And you know, hey, maybe he and He-Man and Man-at-Arms will go on an adventure to meet the actual dragon himself from Dark Smoke, Granamer, or maybe even the huge big dragon that's coming sometime. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but from Mythic Legions, the huge dragon of all dragons. But yeah, this dragon will have to tide us over until we get that monster from Mythic Legions. But thank you again for joining us, and hope you have a blessed rest of your day. And here's some photos in the photo gallery.